1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 1. Okay, let's try that. All right. Okay, so I guess we're live. We're live. What can I say? Well, I can say that we're in pre-show. So where's my pre-show graphic? Holy cow. Here we go. No, we're not ready. Hold on. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, yes. Welcome back. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. I mean, I'm looking right at you. That is kind of creepy. Hope you are ready for Christmas. The T-bar, yeah. Have I mapped it to something else? I don't think I've ever mapped that device differently. I've mapped some other devices. I mapped a New Tech replay, the 3-play controller, to vMix using central control, thanks to Joe DeMax. So I'd reach out to Joe and see if he's got a hookup to the Constellation ME2. That would be the way to do it, unless, you know, the ME2 can accept a MIDI controller. I don't know if that's the case. Yep. All right, let's see. Check in here. Audio check, test 1, 2, 3. This mic right there, the Hollyland, tends to be a little low for my preferences. So basically what I've done is vMix has got a 10-channel EQ, so I've boosted each one of the channels. I didn't want to just, I guess that's kind of like doing a gain, but anyway, I decided to do it that way instead of just doing a gain, just because we're trying different things. So yeah. So this is going to be an interesting show, because last night vMix released the specifications for a new reference system. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I'm really excited about that. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. So, Jono, what are you up to these days? And where are you up to them? Yeah. Are you in the States still? You're in the States. Yeah, of course you're in the States. Why wouldn't you be in the States? Got too much light in here. Tennessee for an online ministry. Oh, cool. What part of Tennessee? I've got, my youngest son lives just south of Chattanooga. It's in Georgia, but it's, you know, it's that close to Tennessee. And I went to college in Tennessee, a little place called Sewanee. You're in Middle Tennessee. Okay. What is in Middle Tennessee? Anything? I thought everything was kind of on the west side and kind of on the east side. And the Middle Tennessee was just like, you know, oh, it's Nashville's considered Middle Tennessee. Okay, there you go. Well, cool. I like Nashville. Been there a couple times. Maybe more than a couple. Went there when I was in college to a Vandy, who was Vandy playing? Maybe Vandy and Auburn were playing basketball or something like that. And that was a lot of fun. And then as a grown-up, I went there. Sandy and I went there for a marriage conference. Nice place to live. Where's the snow? I'm not used to it being December 18th and there's snow on the ground. Well, welcome to the South. I mean, I'm not in shorts today, but I was day before yesterday. Ernesto, welcome from Arizona. Let's see if we can't get some of these people into the official chat. Where is that? There it is. There it is. There it is, right there. Glad to have you, sir. Welcome to the show. So today we're going to talk about, the Obsidian. Yes, Yes, got back from Florida. What is today? Wednesday. I guess we got back last week, and got back on Wednesday, so that was why no show Wednesday. But I've got 3 boys, and they're all married, and they all decided this year that they were going to go to their in-laws for Thanksgiving. So Sandy and I were glum, and we decided, well, hey, we don't have any kids. Of course, we don't have any kids around most of the time anyway, but we decided, let's go to the Keys. So we went to the Keys. We went to Sugarloaf Key, which is about 15 miles north of Key West. And that was really fun. The weather was lovely. John, you think there's no snow in Nashville? We were in shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops in Summerdale Key. Sugarloaf Key. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And close by is a key deer refuge that we biked through one day. Didn't see any deer, but it was still pretty cool to do that. Yeah. TKDS finally made it. There he is in the flesh. Well, hopefully clothed and in the flesh. It was great. So we had a lovely trip to the Keys, and then 2 out of the 3 boys and their families are coming this weekend for a week to stay for Christmas. So it'll be a lot of fun there. Yeah. Always tough with timming. Well, it depends on where you're timming. I think you mean timing. But yeah. No, you may be interested in the subject matter today. vMix introduced what they're calling a new, what did they call it? A new reference system. Yeah, a new reference system. So we probably ought to pull up the specs of that while we're thinking about it. And there we go. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that ought to do it. And can we, do we have desktop capture on that? Hold on, let's make sure we got this going. I think we got this going. Desktop capture. Oh, it's got the whole, it's not the screen. I mean, it is the screen, it's not the window. Can we do a window? Desktop capture, local desktop capture. Display one, display to Google Chrome. There we go. Let's see if we can bring that in. Will that give us what we want? Yeah, there we go. Good, good. Perfect. 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 Now we need to move that one up to like 3. Move to, I'm looking around the camera, which is in front of me. Oops. Let's try again. Move to 3. There we go. Now we're in business. Now we are in business. So we're doing things a little differently today. I like it. Timing. Timing. Michael Graves is here. Hot dog. Jesper's here from DE. OG is here. How's the weather in Texas, OG? Ed is here. Merry Christmas. Glad to have you. Are you getting snow in Detroit? Is my sound low today? If anything, it should be normal. We can boost it a little bit. Let's boost. Audio mixer. Hey, oop, that turned it off. Sorry, not a smart move. Let's just give it a little bit of gain. We'll give it 2 decibels of gain and see how that goes. Tell me how I'm doing here. It's trying to snow in Detroit. Cold in the mornings, hot in the afternoons in Texas. That's about the same way it is here. I think we're close to the same latitude. Tim is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. OG says tad low. Well, let's pop it up just a fraction. I keep turning it off. The thing I don't like about gain is, of course, that it boosts everything, and I'm trying not to boost all the background noise. Okay. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. So it's cold in the mornings, hot in the afternoon in Texas. It's trying to snow in Detroit. Nashville is just sort of not cold. Not cold enough for John for Christmas. Here it's, what is it here today? The car said 77, Fahrenheit, but I think that was too high. I didn't believe it. So, you know. So Tim, what do you think about this drone thing? Have you got a theory on it? 75 in Phoenix. There we go. Tornado warning. A blistering 54. I love it. Tusky Eric, is that you? All right. Welcome. Glad you're here. Everybody's off, so they don't have anything to do, so they're just sitting around. Yeah. Oop. Oh, you know what? That's my phone. I need to go turn that thing off. Hold on. And I've got to call my wife. So we better do that. I won't put her on speaker, but you can hear my end. We'll start the show in just a second, I promise.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Aren't you starting your show?
I am. I've got 47,000 people listening in on our conversation.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. See you in a little bit.
Okay.
Bye. She didn't want to talk to me. I can't imagine why. Let's just turn that off. That's too funny. Oh. Yes, I figured that was the case. Oh, too funny. Tim says flying car test. I hadn't thought about that. Flying cars. Good. Good. Yeah, there you go. It's like, all right, if you've got 47,000, just $1 each. And we got Eric Tabor. He's watching twice, or he's logged in twice. There we go. Good deal. All right, well, let's get the show on the road. We're doing the show from the, actually, the desktop that I'm using right now is the desktop that we do some of our PC building on. Actually, there are 3 steps to the PC build. Step 1 is to put it together outside of the box. Step 2 is to load software and operating system and drivers and configuration and all that kind of stuff. And then step 3 is to install it in the box and test it. So, so there, yeah. And if you want to save OG's life, send him $1. There you go. So yeah, let's get this show started if I can remember how to do it. Intro, outro, virtual opening. This ought to do it. Sit tight. Booyah! There we go. Good deal. Good deal. It worked. Welcome, streaming idiots. December, what is it? Today, the 18th? 17th? 18th. Yeah, 18th. Sorry about that. 2024. Only we've got 14 days left in the month. Only a fraction of those days are shopping days till Christmas. So hopefully you have all your Christmas shopping done, and wrapping and decorating is in process. That's the way it is in our household. Today we're going to talk about and look at the new vMix reference system, the Obtanium. The Obtanium reference system. This is the biggest, baddest reference system that vMix has ever put out. At NAB this past spring, Keith and I were chatting about doing or maybe we were doing this by email, I don't remember. Anyway, we're talking about an 8K system. You know, could we spec out an 8K system? And he said no. He said there's just nothing out there that's going to do more than 1 frame a second of 8K. But they have been trying to find a replacement for their Obsidian system. You remember the Obsidian came out, I guess, about 4 or 5 years ago. It was based on the X299 motherboard chipset, and it was, up until yesterday, was the most powerful reference system that vMix had available. And if you watched the vMix Funtime live show last night, then you've gotten all this information. You heard about all the testing that they've been testing for a while, 6 months, maybe longer, to find the right combination of CPU, motherboard, GPU, SSD, even, to get these things working right. And I think Tim and Keith mentioned on a vMix Funtime live show maybe 3 or 4 months ago about doing a lot of testing with SSDs. Anyway, I encourage you to, if you haven't, you can go to YouTube and find the vMix Funtime live show for December. It doesn't include the pre-show and the post-show. You actually have to show up live for that. But here's the trick. If you tune into the show at any point, you can scrub back to the beginning and watch the pre-show and then the show and then the post-show. And at some point, I think it comes down. It happened to me last night. It came down with about, I don't know, we were maybe 15, 18 minutes into the post-show, and it scrubbed out. But that was all right. We got the most of it. So the vMix reference system, the Obtanium, is based on a Xeon chip, Intel Xeon chip. The, what is it? I've got it here. Let's see if we can find the list. And we can bring it in for everybody. Yeah, that's it right there. Let's get rid of that, and then we'll just maximize it. There we go. This is the Obtanium, and they've taken the Obsidian off. And the interesting thing is that this is based on the Intel Xeon W5 2565X, which is not the biggest, baddest 2500 series Xeon. And they're also including a water cooler from Silverstone, which is the same place the case is from. I've been using this case for years for builds. And it's one of the very few rack mount cases that I like that actually has easily designed in the ability to water cool it. So that's probably why they chose it. and they're using the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 Super. Don't know why it's not the TI, but maybe the Super is cheaper than the TI. I haven't really checked. 1,000-watt power supply, and then, you know, whatever kind of cards you want. Windows 11, which I guess we're going to have to swap over to that sooner or later. But here's the real sticker. The Gigabyte MW83-RPO. That is well, let's take a look here in live time. So we'll go here and we'll see, oh, you can get it from eBay, but that's not it. That comes with the a CPU. That's not it. That's another eBay one. That's another eBay one. If we look on the list down here, Newegg 781. Hey, that's great. That's a great price, but it's out of stock. Let's see if we request a quote. It'll tell us. No, I've already requested the quote, but it did tell us it's out of stock. They don't have it. So we'll go back out of Newegg and let's go to Newegg Business. Oh, it tells us right there. It's out of stock. And they're drawing from the same inventory. Central Computers, out of stock. eBay, it's in stock, but let's just go into eBay for a second. Take a look, see. There it is, but it's got to get it from China. In fact, all the eBay listings for that motherboard are from China. Do we have anybody else? You know, what about some of our, you know, happy people like Amazon? Let's see, here it is. It's out of stock at AAA Wave. Amazon says in stock, but that's just the memory. EASAI Tech says it's in stock. But when you get into the page, it says, no, it's not in stock. I don't know why they lied to you and tell you it's in stock when it's not. Walmart says it's out of stock. Wouldn't buy it there anyway. Sears, not going to even bother to look at that one. Tech America says in stock. Let's go take a look at Tech America. And it says item is out of stock. Well, we could go on and on and on, but the gist of this is that it's not there. It's un-obtanium, at least unless you're going to get it from China. I've written vMix and I've asked them, you know, where did you get it? Where can we get it besides China? I think they were using Newegg, and maybe there's an international Newegg source, you know, something in Asia perhaps. But it's un-obtanium right now. However, the fact that it's un-obtanium is bad news. But let me flip back to this one here, and we'll go in and take a look at this. Yeah, let's cut back to this picture, and then we'll go major. So one of the beauties of this guy is that it's got a bunch of PCIe slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even if 3 or 4 of them are blocked by a humongous graphics card, you've still got 1, 2, 3 slots available. You've got lots of slots for RAM. You've got slots for an M.2 here, an M.2 here, SSDs. And then, of course, you've got the ability to take SATA drives. So this looks like a great little motherboard. Oh, also, it's got dual. Let's see if we can see them right here. Well, not in that picture. Here we go. We can see them in that picture. It's got dual 10G network connections. And then I'm not sure what that third network connection is. Maybe it's a gig, maybe it's 2.5. You can see this is somewhat of an older card in some ways, because it's got a serial port on it. Is that serial or VGA? Anyway, whichever one is which, that one's the other. I never remember which one is a row of 3 and which one's a row of 2. But this card has got some age on it. At least the revision 1 may have. The revision 3, maybe they've done something new to make it better. But it looks like a great little board. LGA 4677 is the pin set, and that's going to give you great connection to the board. I think, great connection to the CPU. And the CPU is not, yeah, let's go to the CPU. Let's go to the CPU. We'll take a look at that guy for just a second. Let's just go there, and we'll go there, and there we are. And what we want to see is that right there. There we go. Now this guy was, let's see if we can scroll down for just a second, was launched in the third quarter of 2024, so it is brand new. It has an idling speed of 32 gigs, 3.2 gigs, excuse me, and a turbo boost of 4.8. And most importantly, see if we can find out down here, it has 64 PCIe lanes. Now, why is 64 PCIe lanes important? Well, it's important because if you're going to run 4 PCIe cards, you've got a graphics card and then 3 capture cards at X16 each, 16, 16 is 32, 64, that takes all your PCIe lanes right there. Now, you're not going to be using them all the whole time, and I think the way vMix puts it is that you've got the ability to do 6 4K inputs and like 400 or 500 HD inputs. Anyway, it wasn't really that many, but it was a bunch. In fact, we can go back to the un-obtanium, and it says for camera inputs, yeah, you can have 6 4Ks up to 60 frames a second, and then 24 HDs at 60 frames a second. And then in addition to that, you can have NDI or SRT, 12 of those at HD and 6 at 4K. A total of 50 inputs. Now, just for comparison, today we're using 89 inputs, but not all of those. I mean, at this point, I think we've only got really 3 cameras connected, so we're not pressing the system too much. Let's see. We've got 1080p 60, render time is 4 milliseconds. CPU is, total CPU is 18, vMix portion is 4%, so we're not stressing it. This is an i9, a 10900, I think. So it's a little bit older, but yeah. So I like the specs. I like the fact that they're saying that they've got the ability to do 4K and 10 camera replay. Now, I guess 6 of those cameras can be 4K and the other 2 are HD, because they're saying that you're only going to go 6 4K cameras at 60. Maybe you could go 10 4K cameras, or at least 8 if you're doing less than 60 frames a second. But why would you want to do less than 60 frames a second for replay? I mean, you want to do, if you can, you want to do 240 frames a second for replay, so you can slow it down and get really, really sharp picture. But that's coming. That's coming. So yeah, super power system, no doubt about it. Power hungry. I think the CPU alone is going to use 200 watts or more. But so this is not going to be the kind of thing that you're going to take out to a ball field somewhere and power off of a car battery. Although you might be able to, I don't know. Certainly not going to be solar. It's going to take, vMix is recommending a 1,000-watt power supply, but you may want to go 1,200 just to give yourself some bump through. And the other thing about power supplies is that over time they kind of get a little weaker and a little weaker and a little weaker, like 5, 8 years. And so one way to prolong the life of your system, if you really want a long life on it, is to use a bigger power supply than what's required. So that's it. That's it. I wish that we could say that I could build one tomorrow, but I can't. Well, I guess I can. How long would that motherboard take to get to me from China? 1 second here. Let's look that up. Oh, we'll just go with that one. I'll put you guys back in the hunt on this. So we're looking for 1152.27 with free shipping, free expedited shipping. So it would arrive between December 30th and January 7th. Yeah. Okay, well, that's not too bad. And we can see the others that are available. The price is very similar. And my guess is that all of those are staying the same in China. Here again, we've got, well, at least we've got 2. Oh, there's one with dual. Hey, you could put 2 Xeons on it. Now we're talking. But yeah, I think all of these are going to be the same deal so far as, Greater China. We'll take another one just for fun. Greater China. And then the 4th one, Greater China. So yeah. So that's it's kind of like Christmas in the fact that we've got these great specs and they've tested this system, so they know everything works together. But it's I guess I'm going to have to get a motherboard from China. I guess that's my only option at this point, unless you've got one that you'll loan me. Hey, there's a deal. Just loan it to me. But yeah, I mean, what if you have an issue? What if the motherboard comes in DOA? It's not like Newegg or Amazon or some of those other places where you can get it. Yeah. So, and digging through the Gigabyte site, trying to get an age on this motherboard was a little confusing. A lot of the drivers appear to be just have been released for this board, summer of 2024. But then occasionally there'll be a driver that says, or a BIOS actually, that's dated 2021. So I couldn't find a release date on the board. So I guess the board is a new one. So yeah, there we go. If you guys have got some thoughts on that, pop them in chat or let me know. In fact, let's go to the chat right now. We're going to keep the show going. And let's go to the post show, because then I can put the stuff up here. So sit tight. We will be right back. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Anything that I haven't seen. And then we'll get into the part that I have seen. One more page. Stick with me here. Okay. OG says, I'm confused because we did some 8K stuff using a Threadripper and a 3090 on a Gigabyte Design Air motherboard, but it wasn't in vMix. Really? Wow. That's cool. You were using a 10K camera? I mean, excuse me, an 8K camera? Wow, 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 wow. Very cool. Oh, that's my phone that's making this noise. Need to find something soft to put it on. My bad. All right. Well, vMix has said, I mean, not officially, but just to me, when I said, hey, I wanted to try to build an 8K machine, they said, don't even try. We don't think there's anything powerful enough out there. Now, maybe a Threadripper Pro might be, or one of those systems that's got the dual Xeon on it. But they were also thinking reasonably priced, something that's going to cost less than $30,000. So anyway, OG, I'd like to hear some more on that. Aziz is here. Welcome. You have some questions. All right. And Michael Graves, who is the source of, how would you say, how would you describe what he's the source of? He is the source of reliable knowledge and wisdom. How about that? How about that for some big time sucking up? Not available globally yet. So where is it available besides China? Is that where the YouTube folks got it? I mean, where the vMix folks got it from China? All right, let's see what Aziz has got up his sleeve here. I have a Marshall PTZ 4K. Just figured out after 3 years that they only do 4K with NDI. Huh. Apart from the picture is having kind of a glow effect. Oh. A glow. It doesn't sound right. But Marshall should stay. Oh, it's 3 years old. Wonder how long the warranty is. Maybe it's a 5-year warranty? Don't know. Well, that's true. I've got a I've got a couple of Marshall cameras here that I bought for a project that never worked out, and I just sort of put them on the shelf. I think they were 4K HDMI, but I don't think they were NDI compatible. Yeah, that would be the CPU, huh? That's a lot of power, a lot of heat. A lot of heat, that's what it is, heat. That's the thing. SDI says 3G. Yep, that's HD. Yeah, if it's NDI HX, obviously that's a tenth the bandwidth needed. But yeah, oh, one other thing that, and I mentioned this earlier, that Heath mentioned last night, was that the NIC ports on motherboards, and I guess maybe on cards too, that you can adjust the receive and transmit buffers on those. and that if you're having problems with dropping frames with NDI, or with just having network issues in general, that increasing the buffers might be a solution. I looked at, and he didn't mention it, or maybe he did, but that the Marvell, Marvell, NICs tend to be more problematic than the Intel NICs. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why they chose this Gigabyte motherboard, was because it had Intel NICs. But that you can go to Device Manager, select the network adapter, right-click it, and select Advanced Settings. Or maybe you go to the Properties page and then select Advanced. And then there'll be a list of all the different items that you can adjust. And, you know, if you go online and do some Google search for whatever the problems you are, I was doing that yesterday, and found out that there are all sorts of other settings there that people have played with, that they've talked about in forums. So there's some information out there, whether it's good information, whether it's Michael Graves quality information, or whether it's just, you know, kind of hokum. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's see. Yeah, that is disappointing, especially if you've had it for 3 years. Welcome, Gunner. Glad you're here. And OG said he can't do it in vMix, but he can stream 8K right now, providing he has the bandwidth. You have an 8K camera, or is this just 8K video that you've found somewhere? Oh, take that back. You were using a 12K camera. Well, there you go. A Black Magic. Whoa, whoa. Caesar, not hardly. Maybe the janitor. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. 8K streaming. Well, vMix is, let me rephrase this. vMix has the capacity to stream 8K. But it doesn't, but they don't think that there's hardware, excuse me, that's capable of doing that. So let's just look here for a second. Oh, I can't do it while we're, oh, maybe I can do it. No. Anyway, I can't do it while we're live. I was just going to go in and check the settings on the streamer. But as I recall, you know, 8K is the next step up from 4K, sort of. And seems to me that there was a setting in there that allowed that. Anyway, so there. All right, OG says, I believe if you set up for a sports stream with tons of graphics and overlays, one would not want to be trying all that on one PC at 8K. Yeah. Well, what vMix was telling me, what Heath was telling me, was that the best hardware that was available, I guess, it was unsaid, but I interpreted it to say for a reasonable price, the best hardware for a reasonable price would only stream in vMix 1 frame a second. So that's something I may want to play with. And I may get one of these Chinese motherboards. We'll just have to see. Roll the dice on that. I priced out the system last night. And once I can be assured that I've got a reliable source of motherboards, everything else seems to be available here in the US, no problem. We're going to add that to our offering at easternshorebroadcasting.com. is a Obtanium reference system. It may not be the exact same match. We may play with the specs a little bit, but before we announce it, we'll have brought it in and tested it. I guess the key is, where do I get 6 4K sources? And I guess that means I need 2 of the Blackmagic 8K capture cards. Well, we'll play with it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's always nice to have a new fun project like that. In fact, it was kind of funny. The last time I put together a fun project like that, I hadn't even finished putting it together, but I had it spec'd out, and I knew that it would be capable of handling 16 HD cameras. It was based on the Obsidian spec. And before I could even finish it, and I hadn't even mentioned that I was working on it, I don't think, somebody called up and said, "Hey, we need a camera that'll do, we need a PC from vMix that'll do 16 cameras and 4 camera replay." That was back before they opened it up to 8 cameras. And so before we even had a chance to play with it for months here in the studio, it got tested for a little bit and then off to a customer. So maybe that'll happen with this one. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be pricey. It's going to be 5 figures. I mean, you can build it yourself for less than that, of course. But for me to build it and to load everything, to test everything, and to warranty it for 3 years, it's going to be a number with 2 numbers to the left of the comma. Here in the US, we use the comma to separate thousands from hundreds. So there you go. There you go. Holy cow. Well, if anybody out there finds a source for these gigabyte motherboards besides China, let me know. I've written vMix, and I haven't heard back yet from them, but I'll be interested to see, where did they get their motherboard? And did they say they built it, or they just spec'd it? I need to go back and watch that video and see if they built it. And if they built it, why didn't they use it for the live stream? I would have. Anyway, we'll see. It's interesting about specs. You can read the specs, and the specs will say, yes, it will do this. And then over here, it'll say, yes, it'll do that. But it's not until you get into the depths of the motherboard user's guide, the manual, that you find out you can't do both of those things at the same time without some latency or bandwidth reduction or something like that. So we'll see. Oh, OG's got a final comment here. Let's see. The thing is about 8K is it's great for digital crop and zoom and then putting out lower resolution. But yes, I love it. And that's what I had hoped with 4K, frankly. But by the time you cropped, 3 or 4 different areas of the image in 4K, you got it down to 720. So there you go. Hopefully we'll have the motherboard manufacturers again here in the USA soon. I mean, it's just a matter of supply chain, I guess. If China's got them, that's where they're being manufactured. So, maybe it won't be long before somebody gets them. It wasn't like it was an old motherboard and the resellers were saying, no longer available or something like that to indicate that it had passed by. They just all simply said out of stock. So, yeah. Sometimes you can have the latest CPU, but there just aren't supporting chipsets or motherboards for a while. Yeah, I would believe that. But the motherboard's here, Michael. It's not vaporware. You remember vaporware? It's here somewhere. A chipset that limits the PCIe performance. Well, we'll find out about that. It was the EPA that moved them offshore. Maybe. I'm delighted to see that Taiwan, what is it? Taiwan Semiconductors has opened a factory in Arizona with a multi-billion-dollar investment. And they're using that ASML $300 million machine to make the silicone. It's nice that there's something that's not, 20 miles from China called Taiwan that's the only source for this stuff. That's great. We'll see what politics produces. If we can get some stuff onshore. Might be more expensive. Yes, I thought so too, Ed. I found it on YouTube. It was a news report on YouTube about opening that plant. Do they call it a plant? No, they don't call it a plant. What do they call it? Yeah, it was a strange term. And the guy that's president of the Taiwan Semiconductors America, who appeared to be American, was the one that was introducing all this stuff. A fab. That's what it was. That's right. It was a fab. Thank you. Thank you. And as for money, it's, we kind of come full circle in a way. When I was growing up, back in the 50s and 60s, you went downtown to the shoe store to buy a pair of shoes. You went to the downtown to the clothing store to buy dungarees and pants and shirts. And, I remember going down there to get my new school outfit. And then big retailers moved into our town, like, Penny's and Sears. And that changed the game. But it wasn't really discount stuff until Kmart kind of came on board. And then years later, Walmart. And then we all got greedy and decided we needed to buy things for half price because we were going to save money. And the only way to do that was to have it made by somebody that didn't make a decent wage, but they were so far away we didn't care. Anyway, that's a long-term perspective on it, I guess. He's going to keep his Dell Diamond. Yeah. But won't your Dell Diamond upgrade to Windows 11? Yeah, I built a couple of 690 systems, Z690 systems, and I had to take them back because they had so many problems. And I think I ended up, returning the motherboards, or no, I guess I couldn't return them because they've been used. Maybe I sold them as used on eBay. Maybe I've still got them on the shelf. But yeah, the 690s didn't do well. I loved the Z590s. The Buster Browns. There we go. Hey, Al. I have got time for you. Yes, indeedy. I can. I'll watch 8K. Of course, 8K is going to be beneficial by regions of interest, as OG said, but it's also going to benefit those that want to do a high-res video board so that they can have something that's got enough clarity to it to be seen. You know, I would do a whole wall right here of 8K if I could. That would be amazing. Do I think the new N150 CPU would be enough to stream SRT? What's an N150? Never heard of it. Who makes it? What's the specs? Come on, Ed. Don't keep these things a secret. Michael Graves probably knows. Yeah, it's kind of funny. There are lots of ways. I mean, there are lots of things. Intel 150. Okay. I have not heard of the 150. And my guess would be, too, that, you know, what vMix may not run, you might be able to have a, you know, an SRT app that would run and do what you needed if that's all you needed was to have a single camera connecting to SRT. And if that's the case, I would think there would be an encoder out there somewhere that would do that. You're just going to plug the camera HDMI into the encoder or SDI into the encoder, and then the encoder is going to be connected to Ethernet to a switch, and you get into the guts of the encoder and tell it configure the SRT. So every time you plug it in and turn it on, it makes that connection. I would do that before I would dedicate a PC for it, unless I was doing multiple streams and needed. Even then, I think an encoder would be safer and more bulletproof and would not require any operator interaction because it all could be done remotely. Yeah, I'd go that way. I would. Well, we will keep our finger on the pulse of this new un-obtanium reference system from vMix and see what happens in the future. And when I get my stuff here, when I get my goodies here, hello, Scott, glad to have you. When I get all the piece parts here, that's what we could do. We could have a live show. I mean, all the shows are live, obviously, but we could have a live show showing off all the stuff. Here's the motherboard. This is what it looks like. This is where I got it. Here's the CPU. Look at this sucker. And put it all together. And then the next week, use it to live stream in 8K. I don't think. Oh, I don't think. You guys are great. There we go. I'm with you. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. And where's my little thingy here? Is that it? No. Is that it? No. Must be there somewhere. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Oh, hold it. Here's Scott's got a question. Good question. I don't know. Why not a Quadro? Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. There we go. There we go. Okay, guys. Got to run. Loved hanging out with you. And let's see, where is it? Yeah. And we'll do this again real soon. Not next week, because next week's Christmas. Maybe January 1st. We'll see. I'll let you know. Y'all take care.